what it is. It's them kids and wives and 925s, but we are still married to the games. Episode 335. Mr. 335.
No.
It's your boy Gabe Patillo with Tim Router.
No.
And Professor and Chris McCracken. Of course, and as always, we're talking games and life and games. Thank you guys so much for being here. Ed, I'm so sorry for disappointing you so early in the show.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's okay. I still love you.
Oh, okay, that works. That works for me.
It's always a disappointment when Pitbull is involved.
Yes, usually.
Oh.
That is
Not
usually
the actual
case.
dog, but the artist. Using air quotes there. The artist.
The artist.
Yes. Router.
Oh, yes.
Welcome back.
Thanks, brother. I missed you guys. I'm
Your
so
dreams
sorry
are
about
your
last week.
ticket out. Welcome back.
Yeah. Yeah, I am so sorry about last week.
What's the fill us in?
Yeah, we don't really understand.
Yeah, okay. Let me give you I'll give you the story, but let's back up a little bit. So on the weekend of the 1st, Friday the 1st was my birthday. And so we just went out to dinner and just had like some little family over. And then that Sunday, Lauren left for New York for the gift show and stationery show. And she goes up with her full-timer. Her name is Jessica. She's good friends of ours. And so they go up to the gift show. So I'm single dadding it during that time with Piper. We had a great time that weekend. We went to the zoo and we ended up going to a Preds game and it was a lot of fun. And then on Wednesday, it's raining here in Nashville. And so, you know, you guys wanted to do the show in the evening. And so I'm like, all right, cool. So Lauren's flight gets in at 6:00 from New York. Great.
Yeah, no problem.
We're driving up. It's raining, but it's not raining terrible. As we get up into the city, it starts pouring. And then as we get closer to the airport, there's lightning involved. I'm like, oh man, this is not going to be good. This is not going to be good. Not going to be good. So I am on the 440 loop almost at 40s, which is like literally 5 minutes from the airport. And I get a text from a weird number. Hey, babe, it's me. This really nice man next to us. Let me use his computer so I can message you because I can't get to my phone or anything. The plane is circling Nashville, and it looks like we're going to be diverted to Louisville. So I was able to text her back, and then we're almost at the airport, and then she texts me, all right, we are going to Louisville. It's, I don't know how long it's going to be, but once we land, I'll give you a call. So I didn't even pull into the airport. I just went straight to Opry Mills, which is the outlet mall or the mall area. And Piper and I just went around and waited in the mall. We went to the Rainforest Cafe and had some dinner while we waited for Lauren because I knew this was going to take a while.
Yeah.
She calls me and she's like, okay, so we're here in Louisville. We have no idea when we're going to take off. They said that our flight is locked, which means it's basically up in the air. It could get canceled or they can try and land back in Nashville once the weather clears, whenever that is. It's still pouring, and it's just, and we're supposed to have this rain till like 3:00 in the morning. So I'm like, all right, well, you guys just figure out what you're doing. We're gonna hang out here for a little bit. And Lauren was also like, hey, Jessica's fiance, Jessica and her fiance, they live right there where you are. If you want, you could go and hang out with her fiance Wes until we figure something out. I said, great.
Let's not turn this into a play date.
Right.
Oh yeah. No. And Piper's like, sure. I haven't seen Mr. West. I don't.
I bet Piper was like, sure.
So she's like, all right, great.
But they have an arcade at Opry Mills.
Yeah, exactly.
I know exactly.
But Dave and Buster's.
I know, right?
Right.
We're at the Rainforest Cafe. This is great.
Yeah.
But our bed's at home.
Exactly. So I wasn't planning on going home anyway because on our way up, the traffic going south back toward our house was absolutely atrocious. I mean, it was just backed up everywhere. So I'm like, we're kind of stuck up here. I'm not gonna attempt to try and go home just to try and come back up to the airport later because it would have taken me a good hour or so to get home.
Right.
So we get a text. No, I get a phone call. And she's like, okay, Jessica and I are getting into a rental car with 2 other businessmen that we met on the flight. I'm like, okay.
Lordy.
And she's like, here's their name. And so Wes and I immediately start texting each other. We're like, all right, look him up on Facebook. Where does he live? Does he have kids? He has a wife. He's got 2 kids and all that stuff. And we're like, okay, apparently this guy, he's a really nice guy apparently. And he's a business guy. And he's coming
just happens to be extremely handsome.
He's a men's health model. No, and
he's a business guy. It's fine.
It's totally fine. Oh wait, what's that ski mask there? So
what if some poor lady ever said that?
Exactly.
I work with him. He's fine.
It turns out he was on a day trip. He's been up since 3:00 in the morning. They lived in the Green Hills area, so he just wants to get home. He ended up getting like the last rental car out of Louisville. So Lauren was like, look, the turbulence was terrible. There were 3 flights ahead of them that tried to land and had to bail on the landing and go back up in the air. And so everything was diverted. So it sounded like it was a hot, sweaty roller coaster of a mess of a flight.
Mm-hmm.
So they just left their bags, got into the car, and they ended up driving down to the airport to drop back off the rental car, and then we would meet up with them there. So Piper and I were like, okay, we go over to Wes's house, and we just hang out for a while until they're ready. And about 2 hours later, we head to the airport and pick up everybody. And we end up taking the guy. He had his car down in Cool Springs at the Toyota dealership. And so he's like, hey, is there any way that you guys can take me down? Or I was just going to get an Uber. And Lauren's like, look, you just drove
like,
2 hours. Yeah, right?
Could you imagine?
Lauren's like, look, you just drove us 2 hours in the pouring rain from Louisville to Nashville. We're taking it. And I said, absolutely. We'll take you down there and drop off the car and everything. So all in all, we didn't get home until about 10:30, 11 o'clock. So Shannon Gilkey is his name. Thank you very much for bringing my sweet wife home to me.
Mm-hmm.
And that it was just quite an ordeal. So they left their bags at the airport, but then I checked online, and the flight did depart from Louisville back to Nashville. And I'm like, well, the girls need their bags. I ended up driving back up to the airport after dropping off Lauren.
Oh,
yeah,
Lord.
and to go get the bags. And so I got up there right as the bags were still on the baggage claim little rotator thing. And so I found their bags. And you know what? It's a good thing I went up there because the tags on their bags were switched. So Jessica would have gotten Lauren's bag and Lauren would have gotten Jessica's bag. And by the time they would have gotten all that, it probably would have been like a day and a half until they got their suitcase. So thank the Lord I went up there and got it and came back. So by 1:30, I was basically in bed. And I'm like, oh, well, that was a day. And I'm soaking wet too. I mean, it was just pouring that day. So it was crazy.
So you didn't do the podcast because
exactly
because you had to hang out with
because
Mr. West?
I was trying to figure out how
you're like whose bag is whose?
I know.
How can you tell?
They look so alike.
I was trying to figure out whether or not Piper and I needed to go over to this man's house and kidnap his wife and children.
Hold them hostage for my wife.
Piper's going to hold down his 2-year-old, and I'll take care of the rest.
We'll make a trade. Everybody be cool.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So all in all, it was a very interesting week this past week. But so that's what happened. I'm so sorry I missed it. I did get to listen to the podcast, and it sounded absolutely amazing. And I wish I was there because it was a nice show.
I know it was. Man, it was fun times, and we laughed hard.
I know you did.
This one's a morning show.
This is different. This is all business.
And this one's a morning show.
Yeah.
I got a rock.
Now says come over to the dark side.
Yeah, exactly.
No, yeah, usually I'm okay with men and coffee. It's just not kicking this morning.
That's right. So all that to say, Piper's topic of the week, which would have been last week, is
Taken 4.
But what I do have are a certain particular set of skills. Yes. Anyway, but the topic of the week is, of course, Piper's birthday. My sweet baby girl turned 7.
Oh, snap.
this past Friday, we had a little like family party, which turned into like 21, 22 people showing up.
Wow.
And of course, mommy went all out, and we got, it's kind of cool. I don't know how she found it, but you can rent these like vintage campers.
Like Airstreams?
So
And
yeah,
stuff?
like it's kind of like an Airstream. So we had a little camper.
Nice.
And so she set up inside, like the kids that were coming over, they could paint like little camper birdhouses and stuff. And like, she just freaked out. It was the greatest thing. And we had it for 24 hours. You can sleep in the camper. You know, it had full heat. And on Friday the 8th, it was freezing cold, and like the low was 18. And we were like, I don't know if we're going to sleep in there tonight. I mean, it was still warm, but it's like to go out there and then to have to make the bed and all that stuff. We were like, whatever. But anyway, she had a great birthday party. And it was a lot of fun. And I can't believe she's 7 already.
Mm-hmm.
So it was nuts. So, on the gaming front, Assassin's Creed Odyssey is now complete.
Oh,
Hey.
Really?
Got the platinum.
hey,
Nice.
Ended up at level 70,
Nice.
Okay.
143 hours and 47 minutes.
Wow.
I
Nice.
feel
man.
like kind of guilty. Like I probably should have cured cancer or something during that time, because that's a lot of
That's a lot of
hours and minutes, man. Holy cow.
somebody else
I'm
is
like-
trying to do that.
Yeah, right. I was
Yeah.
like, is that a good use of my time? And to that I say, abso-freaking-lutely. This game was unbelievable. And honestly, I started it in November, so to end like last week in February, or this past week, that's got some serious longevity. So I definitely got my
Yeah.
money's worth out of this game,
That's for sure.
and absolutely loved it. So now I've reached. This is the new champion game for router. Assassin's Creed Odyssey has now surpassed The Witcher, Skyrim as my longest game and most played game that I have ever played in my gaming career. So it was
There you
it was
have
awesome.
it.
So I ended up putting Shadow of the Tomb Raider back in,
Oh,
And-
really?
and exactly, because I was like, because I'm waiting. I pre-ordered Far Cry New Dawn, and along with that, I went ahead and got Spider-Man as well. So I'm just, I'm just having it shipped. I'm not
All
going. over to
right.
Best
Well,
Buy to
those
pick
are
it up
good
right now.
decisions.
Those are great
Yeah.
decisions. Now ask me if I've played Shadow of the Tomb Raider.
Okay.
It's coming right back out. I haven't even touched the PlayStation this week. It's kind of funny. I've actually been on a huge, and it's funny. There's a couple other friends that are doing the exact same thing. I've been in a huge Game of Thrones binge again. I've kind of starting to rewatch the season now that the final season's coming up, and man, I'm really enjoying it. I know what happens, but it's still really good and so family friendly. I mean, we're all just gathered around by the fireplace, and oh, good Lord, it's rough. But it's really good. So
So when does that show come out? Because as a person who doesn't watch the show, I feel like everybody's just talking about. I thought the last season had been going, and
No,
like what? It
this-
still hadn't even
no,
started, and you people are still talking about this over and over and over.
Yeah.
The final season is April 12th, and so
And
I
it's
think
like something like a short. It's only like 6 or 7 episodes.
6 or
something,
7
right?
episodes, but each episode's I think they're extending the time. It's like an hour and 20 minutes or so.
Gotcha.
Honestly, Chris, I think you and Stacy would love it. I mean,
Stacy watched. She hasn't watched every season. She's watched most of them. I watched. I don't
it's
know,
really
maybe
good.
half of season 1 with her, and I just bounced. I was like, yeah. I mean,
oh wow, okay.
I'm not.
Yeah, I
I'm
mean,
not
Lauren
interested.
bounced after the first like 10 minutes of the first episode, and she was like, "No, this isn't really for me." But I love it. It's really to me. I think it's a really good story, and it's kind of rough, but like you just
What show we
really
talking about
get-
again?
Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones.
Oh,
I
yeah.
don't have an issue with like the violence
No,
and
no.
the whole like the fantasy stuff is fine. I got no issues with
Yeah,
all
no,
that
I
stuff.
love it.
just,
yeah,
And again, I understand that this is kind of the show's MO, and the first couple seasons I think were the worst, most egregious at it. But it's like, okay, I don't want to care about anybody because at any minute anybody's gonna
Yeah,
die. Like I don't
exactly.
understand.
Yeah, it's like, who's
why,
gonna die
Why do
this
I care
time?
about any of this right now?
Yeah,
and
but
there's just other stuff. But
Yeah.
I get why it's a phenomenon. I totally do. But really,
It
I
is.
thought. I'm like, man, it's got to be midway through this last season, and I'll hear how the thing ends because I don't have to watch it because everybody tells me everything.
exactly.
And then to hear like it hasn't started yet, it's like, really? I feel like
Yeah.
I've been hearing about this forever.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. And what's funny is that, as I'm going back, knowing most of what I know. Like there's a lot of things that I missed, a lot of little subtle things.
Is. Yeah.
And it just makes it that much better. And it was really, it's really cool. So I've kind of taken a little bit of a gaming break this past week, but man, New Dawn's coming on the 15th and I'll be right back in. I think that's going to be a nice little palate cleanser between that. And then I'm going to go hard into Spider-Man because I know that's a quest-a-thon as well. So I want to do something kind of a little bit more lighthearted and then get right into Spider-Man. You know, I still have 3 trophies on Far Cry 5 and they're multiplayer based. If people are playing New Dawn and they may already have 5, I may try and see if some people want to help me try and get that plat because I only have 3 trophies left on Far Cry 5 and it's killing me that I haven't done it.
Yeah, and there are a few people in the community who have just started recently Far Cry 5. So
awesome. Okay,
they're still in it.
Yeah,
aren't they all the multiplayer ones?
Yeah, it's the arcade stuff that I got to do, which I kind of I just didn't like.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's gonna depend. There's one in particular where you have to kill or get headshots on so many people in multiplayer games. The ones is like deathmatch or whatever, where it's 6v6 or whatever. I don't know because I haven't been in there, but that's going to be the one I think will be the biggest struggle, only because I just don't know how populated those servers are.
Right, exactly.
The other ones that are in the arcade area, I believe you could do solo. The ones that are like going to this and do that. I don't think you have to do with anybody.
I have to play and win like a certain amount of whatever. But my guess is now would be a good time to try it because you know maybe you've got New Dawn, and then maybe some people are going to go back and finish Far Cry 5. But you're right, like. I wonder if I miss my window of opportunity because who knows if people are still playing it. It's not the greatest multiplayer in the world anyway. So, yeah, we'll have to see. But I'm excited
to hear how populated it is once you're jumping in there.
I'll try and jump in and see what's up. But I'm excited for New Dawn. I think it's going to be fun. And I've talked way too long, but there's the story. Sorry about that.
Are you sticking to it?
I'm sticking to it. And I missed you guys terribly.
Well, we're glad you are back.
Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you, sir.
Back into the fold. Back home where you're supposed to be.
Yes.
At 5:30 in the morning.
With the right luggage at 5:30 in the morning.
Exactly.
Wet shoes.
Nobody was murdered along the way on the road to Louisville, so it was perfect.
Which would have been more exciting, but I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
There was lots of water, but no whitewater rafting.
Certainly, yes.
Yes.
I mean, it's up there with whitewater rafting at this point.
So really quick, this is a total aside, but it just made me think of it. So I forget who, I think it's Chris Rock has the joke of like when you're a couple and you're going back and forth talking about your day and stuff like that, and nothing exciting ever happens. And he's talking about like, why don't you get kidnapped so we have something to talk about? And so I was at this right with this lady. I think her name's Jennifer. I don't remember. Maybe Jessica. I don't remember what her name was, but you know, it was Jennifer. And me and her just talking, hanging out. And this third writer comes in. He's like, hey, how you guys doing? And we're like, good, how you doing? He's like, good. He was like, oh, nice to meet you, Jennifer. Good to see you again. It's been a while. And I go, do you know that she just survived being kidnapped? And she, without missing a beat, was like, yep. Like just agreed right along. And
That's awesome.
That's great.
We took this stranger on like a 5-minute ride of Jennifer had just been kidnapped and escaped like a month ago. And
oh my gosh.
And his jaw was just like, his mouth was just open the whole time. Like, are you okay? Are you serious?
Yeah.
And then I just turned to her halfway through. I'm like, gosh, wouldn't that be exciting if you were actually kidnapped? And he's like, wait, what? And I was like, no, it's just all a joke, but you were so invested in the story. Like, wouldn't that be exciting? And he's like, wait, what's going on?
He's probably like, I'm going to kill you now, man.
Exactly.
We're about to have a murder instead of a kidnapping.
And neither of us even knew him. That's what was so funny. Like, he doesn't know me or know if I like to joke around or anything like that. Oh, it was so funny.
That's amazing.
Chris McCracken?
Yes.
Anybody been kidnapped in your life recently?
Yeah. How's your kidnapping going?
Nobody has been kidnapped in my life recently.
Even had the opportunity to be kidnapped?
I mean, there is this coyote that every now and then I come out and it's in the back of my fence, and I think like I might want to kidnap my dog and eat it.
Is it just staring at you?
Watch that doggy, man.
Yeah, it just kind of like moseying around looking.
It's like, I dare you to go back inside.
Just kind of looks at it and then it walks away.
Go back inside, I dare you.
Yeah, exactly.
Put that dog out. Do it.
Yeah, let that little cute dog out here and go inside real quick.
Looking like a little burnt chicken nugget. Come here.
Doggy want to play?
Exactly.
It's good to know that the wolf Sarah sent out to kidnap your dog for us.
Yeah.
Right on schedule. She's watching from a little live stream on its back. It's kind of like GoPro.
Ed's taking his Twitch channel to a whole new level.
Exactly.
Oh my gosh.
Oh man.
Friday fun day, kidnapping Chris's dog with Ed Plus.
Come on, hop on in. We'll chat.
Yeah.
Well, looks like it's not moving now.
Today on HelloFresh.
Exactly.
They got
Look
Chris's
at this dog we found.
In a box.
The cat does not like the dog.
Unrelated, Chris and Stacy, we really hope you guys find Ellie.
Yeah, exactly.
Meet our new dog, Joel.
And how do I block you from watching my Twitch channel so you can't see it?
And you get bits. And you get bits.
I just got bit.
Yeah.
Exactly.
My mom's dog just returned after a year and a month of being gone. Just as an aside.
What?
I know.
Was it, like,
weird, right?
Where did it go?
Wait. Was it kidnapped?
We don't know, man.
What?
Wait, what?
It left for 10 months once, and then it just got back from another year and a month excursion.
What
kind of
What
dog
are you
is it?
talking about? This isn't a thing.
We just figured she was dead.
Your mom's aware that that's not her dog, right?
Wait a minute. He just told us about the whole kidnap story. This is all made up.
Right. Exactly.
right.
Yeah.
No,
Wouldn't that be so much more interesting if my mom's dog just went away for a year?
I know. It's not made up. It's serious. It's a real story.
Wow.
Yeah.
What kind of dog is it?
I don't freaking know. It's got
An
wolf?
explorer?
the kind of dog with an underbite. Yeah. Dora the Explorer. Yeah.
Dog of the Explorer.
So as another aside, so my mom gave her dog up like 2 or 3 years ago to this other family that lives close, and they always send her updates. So a couple years ago, they're like, "Hey, we're so sorry, Bella's gone. She ran away." Wow. And my mom was really sad about it. Blah 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 blah. 10 months later, they're like, "She's back," and it's like Bella running around, same underbite, same missing tooth. And so we were like, "Oh snap, Bella's back!" And my mom was super happy. And then, like a year later, they were like, "Hey, Bella ran away again, and this time she's not coming back." And then they were like, "Hey, we're sorry to say we're moving to Los Angeles. So, see you later." So they moved to Los Angeles months ago, and then here comes Bella back again after a year and a month.
No way.
One of her friends is driving down to get her and fly her to LA to be reunited with this family again.
I don't think that family shows that they're responsible enough
No,
to keep Bella.
I
I think
agree more.
you should just leave it be.
I totally
I think
agree.
that dog wants to be with them.
Exactly.
I think they should try to find a way home.
The dog hath spoken.
Bella comes back all pregnant. "This is my boyfriend."
I know. He's like, "Sup?" He's like, "Sup?"
He's got a nose
You're gonna
ring.
impregnate my dog, and the first thing you got to say is "Sup?"
You got any food?
Sup.
Sup?
Yeah, that's awesome.
All right, Christopher.
Yep. Anyway,
Yes.
rabbit hole.
Yes, I'm full of them tonight.
As an aside, no, I don't have one. I don't have anything. I don't have any cool dog.
I was kidnapped a
return
week
home
ago.
stories or anything.
Yeah.
What I can tell you is that we ran another 5K this week.
Hey,
Nice.
You ran like
this
you were
one-
being chased to be kidnapped.
Well, no, actually, I didn't.
Oh,
Because
Oh, man, we
Stacey's still
set you
not,
up there,
not
man.
feeling super great,
Oh,
and so
man.
this
Still?
one, and not to mention this one. So it was, the way that weather happens in the South. So in the beginning of the week, or most of the week, it was Monday and Tuesday. I think it was 80, then like
Yeah, it's beautiful.
70s,
Yep.
and then 60, and then by Friday it was in the 30s.
Mm.
And then so over the weekend it was super cold. So and because Stacey's still not 100%, she's definitely, I would say she's a good 85%. So it's not
Okay.
like she's like, if you just looked at her, you wouldn't necessarily tell she's sick. She just isn't breathing at 100%.
She just can't breathe.
So let's do
No,
a
she can
5K.
breathe. That's what I'm saying is you wouldn't tell, like the doctor had to tell her like, "Oh, you're not breathing at 100% for her to even know."
Yeah.
Like
You're
she thought she was
besides the
fine.
bluish hue, you can't tell anything.
and the
Just can't
spitting up
breathe.
of blood. It's all good. You're fine.
So needless to say, she wasn't going to be running an entire 5K. So I just
Right.
hung back and jogged it with her and made sure that we were there with 3 or 4 of our other friends, and we let them run ahead, and we just all, we had a meeting spot. We're like, hey, when everybody finishes, we'll meet here. And then after that, we went out for breakfast together. And so that was a lot of fun.
great,
and
man.
this This event, it travels around the country. It's called the Hot Chocolate Run. So their whole shtick is at the end of it, they give you like hot chocolate and bananas and whatever else. But the cool thing about the run is that they usually give, like when you sign up for it, it's a little more on the expensive side, but you get like a really nice jacket with it. And this year's jacket has been really cool. It's this kind of not elastic, but like what is it? The material that stretches? What's it called?
Spandex?
Not spandex, the other one.
Lycra?
I don't know. Good Lord. It's a cool jacket. I guess I should just say that. I don't know what that material is called, but I've been wearing it nonstop. And it's not
I
spandex.
hope it is now.
What the heck is this material called? I can't read the tags on my back. I'm wearing the dang thing right now. But it's a cool jacket. That's the point that I'm trying to say.
You mean to tell me
it's a
you
really
can just
good
look
jacket.
on the tag and we can go around and around?
Polyurethane?
I can't read it. I'm trying to read. Hang on.
Nope.
Jeez,
Don't hurt yourself, Chris. Don't hurt yourself. Made of sheep's wool.
You know what? My bad. It does say spandex.
Yeah.
It says polyester is 90%. Polyester was the word I was thinking, but it does
polyester,
say,
okay.
it says 5% spandex.
That's not the stretchy part.
No.
Is it not stretchy?
Not the,
No, that's the
spandex is
itchy part.
stretchy.
That's why I don't make clothes, because I don't know these things.
That's the only reason
I barely
why.
even wash them.
Well, shut my mouth. It does say spandex.
So there you go.
Oh my
anyways, it's a nice
gosh.
jacket. And Stacy, we made it through the run. She's still slowly on the mend.
Get better, Stacy.
I don't know how
Doggone it.
much. Yeah, I mean, I think she will be going back to the doctor next week, maybe. You know, she's just doing like little follow-ups here and there. They're just checking everything. So each time she goes, she's in better condition. So I'm hoping this next time she goes, they'll be like, hey, you're pretty much at 100%. Because overall, like, again, just talking to her in day to day, she seems fine. You would think that she's okay. It's just whenever would you do something like run a 5K that you realize, oh, I'm not breathing at my full capacity.
Is she still coughing at night and that kind of stuff?
No, not really. I mean,
Oh,
maybe on the occasion, but it's very, very low. That's what I'm saying is you probably wouldn't be able to tell if you just were to see her at work or, you know, out and about or whatever. You wouldn't really know. Yesterday, there was this event here and near us where my partner and I at work went to just to see a couple of different cinema cameras. Some companies are out here showing off their equipment. Kind of like there's this big trade show out in Las Vegas called NAB. Yeah, kind of, except a much smaller version of it that travels around some of the video teams around here had held like a small little event. And so we went to that, and that was a cool little event. Get to see some new equipment and some new gear and ask some questions of some manufacturers. Because as anybody who works in like a tech industry or if you work with like in the video industry or anything like that, you can't always get a hold of the people to ask certain questions. It's nice to go to events like this because of the rubbing elbows and being in like connections that you can make with manufacturers and people who can actually answer questions that is hard to, you know, you're just searching forums to try to get an answer for kind of thing. So that was really cool. I did happen to find another batch of Lucio O's cereal, and I gave I gave my receipt to Ed. Which did you redeem that or whatever?
Yeah, man. Thank you for that.
Did it work?
Yeah, it did.
Okay, good. Because I wasn't sure, because I know they were supposed to stop selling them like the 31st of December. I was like, oh my gosh, here's some Lucio O's. I'm going to get these receipts. And the thing that I learned from the last time is I purchased each one separately, because that way each one gets a receipt. Because if they were all on one receipt, you could only redeem it once. Kind of thing.
Right.
So I wanted to make sure that I got Ed one, because I know he never was able to find any Lucio O's. And I assume that was the main reason you wanted them, was for the little loot boost thing.
Yeah, that's awesome. I didn't even know that the loot boost came with it.
Oh, really? Well, dang.
Yeah,
Well, I kept the box, so if you want a souvenir box whenever you come down here for the OWL stuff, I'll definitely do it. Speaking of which, this is the week that Overwatch League comes back.
Yeah, it does.
Super excited about that. I think the first game started on Thursday.
Yep.
The Dallas Fuel's first game happens on Friday, and Kale and I are going to go to this little live event where they're hosting a watch party kind of thing here. So I'll have more to report on that next week. But definitely looking forward to that. On the gaming front, you know, this week, as Router mentioned a minute ago, and as we talked about last week, New Dawn, Far Cry New Dawn comes out this Friday.
Yeah, it does.
And man, oh man, I'm probably not even going to play it. Because there's this game called Apex Legends.
Oh, I hadn't heard.
I hadn't heard.
Just consumed me, I think.
You guys didn't say anything about it last week. What the heck?
I know, it totally slipped my radar.
Is that with an E?
Yes, it is spelled with an E.
Apex Legends.
It's not Ajax, dude. Come on.
But seriously, like I have played I've played so much of this game. Ed,
Yeah, you have.
thank goodness for Mr. Ed. He invited me to the Division 2 private beta through Uplay or whatever, got me an invite to there. So I'm like, cool, I download the game. I turned it on. I played till you get to the little, whatever, the safe zone or the whatever it is called. Like it's not really a tutorial because they're not necessarily teaching everything. They do kind of tell you like, this is how you shoot this, but it's not, I don't know. I guess maybe you'd call it a tutorial, but basically it's just getting you that and unlocking. It's probably 2 minutes. I did not play it anymore after that. I was like, cool, I got to the base. I'm going to go ahead and shut this down for a minute and I'll come back to it. Never came back to it.
That's amazing.
So what I can say on the Division 2 side is it felt like more of the Division. I played the Division 1. On the Division 1, I only played the beta stuff. I never ended up buying the game. I wasn't completely sold on it back then. And it's kind of the same situation as now. There were other games out around that time that I was like, well, these other ones will take my attention more than this one will, so I just won't buy in. It's kind of the same right now because, I mean, we've got Apex Legends right now. Anthem's about to come out, and I just don't see myself. I feel like I would rather play Anthem over the Division. So I don't think I'll get the Division, but I'm assuming since this one was a private beta that at some point they'll have an open beta and then I'll give it another shot.
March 1st.
Okay, well then I'll give it another shot, or that'll be the plan. We'll see what happens what game drops right before that one.
Exactly.
Right. And I'll have some more stuff to say about Apex and the news stuff, but man, dude, I enjoy that game.
Got you.
That is a fun game. I've played with I've played with so many different people. But yet I still feel like I know a lot of people that are playing and I haven't yet been able to play with each of the groups because being that it's only 3, it kind of, I don't know.
You got to spread the love around.
Exactly. Because there's so many times I'll jump in with a person and then I'll get invites from these other people that want to play. And it's like, oh, but I already have 2 and we only have room for 1. And you guys are 2, so I can't just go over there. And it gets a little crazy. So I kind of like schedule it out a little bit and figure out who I'm going to play with when, where. Because I have a lot of shooter friends from back in my Call of Duty days and things that are into this game. And it's like, man, it'd be great to hook up with you and play again, because we haven't done it in so long kind of thing. So, but yeah, I've just been playing the heck out of it and I've gotten a handful of wins now. So that's awesome. I'm only, they don't have a platinum for this game, but I'm only like 4 trophies away, I think, from having all of them. So that's cool.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
And I think there was a total of, there wasn't too many. There was like maybe 13, I think, or something. So it's not too crazy, but I mean, I might as well go for them all. Why not? Yeah,
man.
Playing the game anyways.
Especially if you think that it's a game that is fun to play past a couple times. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, when I come home at lunch, I'm like, I'm done eating. I can play a round or 2, right? And then
and then tomorrow,
it's the only game in the last year or so that I've gotten up a little bit early before work to go in and play a couple rounds.
Oh, really?
My gosh! Wow.
Yeah. And I have no idea. I was kind of the same way a little bit with H1Z1, maybe not quite to the same extent when it came out. Like I was really into that for like a month and a half, and then just would play, here and there sparingly after that. Maybe it'll be the same thing with this. Maybe a month from now, I'll be like, oh yeah, I still dabble with that game, but it kind of had its thing. It might be a flash in the pan for me. I don't really know, but for right now, it's a heck of a lot of fun, and I'm enjoying jumping in.
Did you feel any did you feel your energy for it kind of die off as you got a win, or did you not really?
No, I didn't. But then again, I also didn't necessarily with H1 because I got, a handful of wins on that as well. And I would say I was probably after I had like 4 or 5 or so that I was kind of like, okay, well, there's still the draw to want to get the win. But it's like, but if I don't in like 10, 12 matches in a row, it's like, it's okay. I've gotten a handful of them,
Yeah.
Kind of thing. So now it's more about the fact that this one has the different characters to learn. And there's still the 2 that are locked at the beginning that I haven't even unlocked. So it's like, oh, I've got those to try out. So there's still stuff to do, even though the win is the ultimate goal each time, there's other things to explore and check out. There's still parts of the map I haven't even gone to. I went to a part on the map when I was playing with some people yesterday. I was like, I've never even seen this spot. I'd never been here before. So there's still things to explore and to do for me. And strategies that I'm starting to figure out, like what strategies feel like they're going to work. And then I know as more people play and as those strategies get, other people find them, like I'm going to have to come up with new ones. So there's still things enticing me about the game.
Yeah.
Nice.
But yeah. It's really
I like
good.
it. I like it a lot.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
Edward.
Yes, sir.
You tried Apex Legends? Is it Apex?
Yes. Close.
Apex.
It's Apex. Very close.
Apex
Spelled
Legends.
the same.
You tried it.
Yes. Yes, I did. I tried it last Friday, and I was excited to go in, and it didn't click with me, but I'm not mad about it. I was really hoping it would. You know, we mentioned last week I was hoping it would be the one to hook me into the Battle Royale.
Yeah,
I played for, I don't know, 3 or 4 hours. It was, had a good time. It was fun. It didn't click with me, but I understand why people like it so much.
Good.
Everything you guys said last week, the ping system, just the fact that you don't have to spend time in your backpack or in your inventory. Just the things that they made to streamline the game. It is kind of like I said last week. Why did no one do it like this before?
Yeah, that's right.
It just seems so natural,
Right.
And, so yeah, I haven't picked it up since then, but it was cool to be able to jump in, see what it was all about, get to play with some friends, and it's definitely my favorite of the Battle Royale games I have tried. I think they nailed it on every point. So even though I'm not into the game, I'm not mad at it. I don't, I'm
and you
happy
were saying too on your stream that you're more of your hang up is with Battle Royale style play. Not necessarily this game and how it plays.
Oh yeah, not at all. Yeah, the game, it played great, and I really enjoyed it. Just not my style, but that's it's totally fine. I wasn't upset about it or anything. Like Chris, I was able to play the Division 2 beta, and I, like Chris, had played the Division 1 beta, and that was pretty much it. And it didn't really hook me, didn't get its hooks into me.
Yes.
But for some reason, this Division 2 beta, I was down to play.
Really?
It was so much fun. And I
want to hear all about it.
It was and I don't know if Assassin's Creed made me into this. Ubisoft, yes, give me 1,000,000 missions and I will do every one of them.
Yeah, I'm with you, brother. Absolutely.
And it's just, it looks great. It feels really good. It wasn't nearly as overwhelming as I remember the first one to be. So everything seemed pretty natural. And I got disconnected maybe like once an hour. I would get disconnected from the network, but it's a beta. You'll have that, and so I couldn't get mad at that, because it's a beta. Stuff like that's going to happen. But it did kind of make me, wow, that's so much fun. Maybe I'll go back and give the first Division a try. Because they are so similar and the gameplay is so similar. And the PlayStation Store is having a sale, the first one and the season pass and all the extra stuff for $20. So
wow, yeah.
I was like, I think I'm gonna play the Division 1, and when the Division 2 goes on sale a year from now, I don't know that's what they intended for this beta, but
that is funny.
I have just been falling in love with it. So it's been all week. It's basically been Assassin's Creed Odyssey and the Division, and kind of bouncing back between the two. I was tempted to put the Division to the side until I finished Odyssey, just because I have a tendency to forget controls.
Yeah, that's right.
So I've been kind of every other day going back and forth between the two. And I told Sarah, look at that. I'm 80 plus hours into this game, and I've got like 30 missions in my list that I have accepted. And it's just
haven't touched. Yep.
Yeah, it's just that the game is massive, and I love it. Like Tim said, you're definitely getting your money's worth out of this game. If you go all in, and so it's been nice. I kind of am liking these Ubisoft Questathons, and they're really clicking with me. Sarah and I tried a new game this week called 39 Days to Mars, and it's a co-op game, a couch co-op game, and the animation is very, very basic, kind of like stick figure almost type, and it's two little British guys that decide they want to fly to Mars, and you and your friend have to help navigate everything. It's a pretty short game. The Tapmans came over, and Stacy and Nathan, they played it and finished it in a sitting, maybe 4 hours or so. But it's just, things like, oh, they want some tea now, and you have to, the two of you, make this person's tea, and one of you has to grab one end of the teapot and one the other and tilt the teapot.
Oh man, you like that kind of stuff.
It's so much fun, and it kind of reminded me of Overwatch, where it's like, why aren't you doing? No, do this. No, do. Oh,
get on the point.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a lot of fun. If you're looking for a couch co-op game, 39 Days to Mars is the name of the game. It's a really fun, cute little game. It's either going to improve your communication skills or just
go get a fight.
You're going to be sleeping in separate rooms. And then, other than that, it's been Overwatch. I've been playing a mess of that this week. Excited about the Overwatch League coming back.
Yep.
Been playing that. And it's funny, last night I was on and I was like, man, I have like 34 friends on my PlayStation friends list online. None of them are playing Overwatch. And I was like,
wow.
I would say 12 of them were in Apex Legends.
Yeah.
So I'm just sitting there and I'm like, man,
I've got to check out that game.
Are playing something cool.
Yeah.
And then I realized I was set to offline. So
oh, that's hilarious.
Oh, there
as
you
soon
go.
as I went online, Lem and Hollywood Bones were like, hey, want to play Overwatch? And I was like, yay, my friends are coming back.
Yeah.
I'm home.
That's amazing.
But it's been fun. We've got just a few more days left in the Chinese New Year event. So if you haven't gotten the skins you want, jump in there and grab those. And it's been a nice week. Sarah's feeling a little bit better. She's probably a couple weeks behind Stacy, so she's not 100% yet. And when I tell her it's okay, Stacy's not 100% yet, so don't. And that didn't help encourage her.
Of course not.
Discouraged.
Exactly.
She's like, why would you? And I was like, well, just so you're fine. Nothing's bad with you. You're just, this takes a while to.
It's gonna linger.
And take that medicine. I don't care how much better you're feeling. You take it.
Oh, she finished taking it, and yesterday I said, "You take your pill?" She was like, "What? I thought I was." Oh, you jerk! That was a nice little trick on my wife.
There you go.
Nice.
That was it. Good weekend.
That's awesome.
Good week.
Good job. Awesome. Good job.
Mr. Patillo, sir.
Yeah.
So you guys hit up Nashville this past weekend. I had some friends that went, and they said it was absolutely amazing. So kudos to you.
Oh, yeah, the Nashville show. That's right.
Yes.
Yo, thanks. I appreciate that.
Woo.
Yeah, thank you.
How is the tour?
It's going good, man. It's going good. And what's kind of exciting is that we're heading up to the Northeast here in the next couple of weeks. And I was going to go see the site of the Harlem Renaissance Ballroom. You ever heard of that?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, the Harlem Renaissance Ballroom is actually a place where a basketball team called the New York Renaissance used to play. They were called the Renaissance Big Five back in 1923, and they were actually established on this day as the first all-black professional basketball team. Happy Black History Month up in this month.
Nice.
There you go.
We made it. We got there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they were the first all-black team before they were integrating basketball back in the day, which would have been hilarious. And back when actually the original Celtics were a team back then too, who were the dominant white team at the time, and they ended up going to the not that same year, but they ended up having to go up against them in the it's obviously not the NBA as we know it now, but it was the World Professional Basketball Tournament is what it was called in 1939. The New York Rens actually won that year, having to beat the Celtics a couple times. I think they had played like their schedule back then was crazy. So like during that year, I think they went like 120-8 or something like that. 6 of those losses came to the Celtics. But they had to beat the Oshkosh All-Stars.
The Oshkosh Bagoshers.
Were they wearing overalls?
Yeah, exactly. for the tournament finals. A whopphing 34-25.
Woo.
So that would be just the first
Glad I wasn't at that game.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah, did the Harlem Globetrotters like come from
they
that?
also won that. Yes, they won it the next year in 1940. The Harlem Globetrotters beat the Chicago Bruins a blistering of 31-29.
Nice.
Stand back.
Yeah. Hold my beer. Watch the score these points. Anyway, happy Black History Month, y'all.
That's awesome.
Nice.
We gotta go see the site of the Renaissance Ballroom. It's demolished actually now. Let's see. This week, shoot. Oh, I got to meet up with Robert Darrow Good Jr.
Yeah, you did.
Oh, yeah.
Barrel
How was
Good
it?
Jr.
That was a good time. Went to a video game place, of course, as we do. And I bought my kids, and I don't know if this is a mistake yet, but I bought them Skylanders for their little 2DSs. And so if you remember,
They'll love
Skylanders is the one where you get the little figurines and you put them on the portal and you link up the IR thing and they suck them into the game. And what's nice about it is Skylanders is from 2011. And so it is extremely cheap. So
it wasn't back in the day. Those things were expensive.
It was not back in the day, but nowadays, and my kids don't know no better.
Exactly.
The game itself, like the cartridge, is 99 cents. And then
that's
you
amazing.
can find the
Nice.
figures for about $1 each. So you can kind of like, so now I'm going to start making it a thing to where it'll be a nice, easy way to semi-support local gaming because I can go, because I don't always buy something, but I always like to. So now I can like just go buy some Skylanders figures and bring them home to the kids each time I go to a place if I make it out, once a weekend or whatever. And they'll be excited to have those when I come home. And then they can put them in their game and play it. Yeah, so that's fun. And I did try out that old Apex Legends this week.
You finally hopped in, huh?
Yeah.
Give it a whirl.
Give it the old college try.
Don't get internet good on the bus. I've talked about that every year of this podcast. And so I actually tried to play with our community and I jumped in there. I think it was, who are you playing with? Drew and Kale or something like that the other day, Chris?
Yeah, I believe so.
And Chris was like, actually, I have to go. Here, why don't you play with these two guys? And we were actually doing really good. And then out of nowhere, my internet started messing up. And so I was the last man standing on our squad and I lost it for us. And I got frustrated and I was like, I'm not doing this right now. And Kale was like, if you quit like this, I'm not listening to your podcast anymore. And Drew was like, I'm taking back my $1 from the Patreon. And I was like, I'm sorry. And then the internet disconnected by itself. So
that's hilarious.
I tried to work.
Keep your $1.
Yeah, exactly. So I worked my way back in there to say, hey, it's acting up. And then it cut out again. And it was just so frustrating. That's exactly right. That's exactly right. So yeah, I got my first win in Apex yesterday. And I still haven't played with the community. Like that was I've only done that one game with the community. So I'm actually really excited to get in there and play with people that I want to talk to instead of just getting talked at by strangers. And so, I freaking love that game. So sorry. Go ahead. No, go ahead. What were you gonna say?
I just want to underscore one more time. 'Cause Ed talked about it, and then you mentioning not wanting to talk to other people. The ping system is so good. Even when I'm in a team with people I want to chat with, I'm still finding myself using the ping system to communicate and game because it can just do it better and faster than I can.
It's true. Enemy over there.
I love the fact that because I was going in saying, oh, how do you say that's an enemy? How do you say this is a weapon? And it's just like, no, just point at it and ping, and the game will say what it is. And
which is crazy. That. Yes.
And you can't say thanks, by the way. Found that out.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah, but somebody has to ping a weapon or something like that. Then you go get the weapon, and then you can say thanks, right?
Yeah, if they drop a thing and you pick it up, you can say thanks after that.
And we also found out that you can buy those other legends without both currencies. There's an ore between the currencies.
Yeah,
which
it's a very gray, very small ore.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. And so on the bus, when I was playing it and when I played it at home, I was playing further away from the TV than usual.
Yeah.
And that ore is really small.
Yeah.
So just when you're glancing at it, it looks like both currencies, but it's just the one.
Very thin font.
Yes.
Yeah.
Man, I like that game. Here's my only problem with it. I feel like because there's only 6 players to choose from at first, I feel like they're going to have to like get on it kind of in the sense of where, just in the sense of where if you notice like Fortnite and some of these other battle royales, it's not really character based. Like you're all just a cookie cutter, different version of a guy with a hat and glasses and torn off, fingerless gloves or something like that. So, but this one relies a little bit on the characters as one of the draws. And so I feel like you can't stick with 6 for too long. Just for me, I'm like, I even found myself like, man, I wish there was another person. You know, Overwatch came in with the slew of, you know, a roster. And so I wish the roster was a little bit bigger to start with, but still loving it. I feel like this game, I feel like you have a chance, or I feel like I have a chance, I should say. It doesn't feel like Fortnite and I jumped in, not Fortnite, but I jumped in PUBG and H1 fairly early on. Mm-hmm. And I just never really felt like I had a shot. Like I felt like if I won that game, it's because I got lucky or because I was camping the whole time and, you know, came out guns blazing there at the end. Where
you definitely have to play those other ones more defensive. This game seems to encourage aggressive. I mean, there's definitely defensive styles and there's even defensive characters, but it always feels like, hey, like if you push or if you hang back, either one's probably the right decision. I mean, you have an equal shot with either one. It all comes down to your skill level. Really.
Yes, and I just don't feel like I've gone up. I haven't gone up against an enemy yet where I was like, oh, come on, how did they kill me? You know what I'm saying? Like each time I've died, I've been like, oh, okay, well, I mean, yeah, they shot me a bunch. You know. So where with some of the other games, like, you know, you might get I haven't had a one-shot kill, you know what I'm saying, where it's like, headshot, and you're dead, and you're like, oh. And I think I've only had one game where, like, I dropped in and died right away.
I've had a few of those.
Really?
I tend to go to the hot zone, though. I'm like, let's do it.
I'm the same way. I actually like that, too. But anyway, gosh, dog it. Yeah, that's the game. But while I'm on the road, I'm playing Far Cry 5 when I don't have internet. Making my way through John Seed's area. There's just so much to do.
Yes, there is.
He was the first area I went to. I don't know why. I just chose his. So I'm still in the first area. I'm almost done with it. I like it. It feels right.
Do you mean Joseph?
Probably.
Isn't John the last guy?
No, Joseph is.
I think
that's right. I'm mixing the names. That's right.
Yeah.
Yep.
John's the brother. The only thing I don't like, so my one qualm with Apex is the voice acting, and my one qualm with Far Cry 5 is the sunglasses. Like, I just don't understand it. They just seem out of place. Like, Joseph shouldn't be wearing yellow tinted sunglasses as this. Like, it just doesn't fit to me.
It's Jared Leto, man. Of course he has to wear sun tinted sunglasses.
I know. And then
I think it kind of fits the glasses.
And but then for his brother to wear them on his head, I'm like, what is up with these glasses? Like, why are you wearing blue tinted glasses? Like,
that's so funny that you pull that out.
I know. It's a weird thing for me. I'm like, it just doesn't seem right.
That's really good though.
Yeah. And the way they revere him, it seems like a silly thing. Like, I can't not think of like Bono when he's anyway.
That's hilarious. Dude.
That's really funny.
Interesting. That's stupid.
That's really funny.
I don't know what else is going on in my life. Honestly, if I'm being completely honest, it's, things.
Well, you're mumbling, so that's good.
Yeah. Hopefully, hoping to see more of the Married to the Games family as we continue
ambassador
on this tour. Yes, I'm definitely the ambassador, and we'll happy Valentine's Day to everybody.
Oh yeah,
coming up, or it's passed by for those that aren't that tier of patron.
Okay.
And I think I'll see a couple people this weekend, so I'm excited about spreading the old love around.
Very cool.
There you go.
Yeah.
Give them a hug from us.
I definitely will. I'll do that. All right, Tim Router.
Yes, sir.
You got it.
I got it.
Well, let's do it!
All right, we got new releases this week on Valentine's Day, which is super smart. Degrees of Separation for the PC, PS4, Xbox One, and Switch. And Ollie Switch Stance for the Switch.
Oh.
And then everything else coming out on
game.
Friday the 15th. Constructor Plus for the Switch. Crackdown 3 for the PC and Xbox. Far Cry New Dawn for the PC, PS4, and Xbox. Jump Force for the PC, PS4, Xbox.
Yeah.
Metro Exodus for the PC, PS4, and Xbox One.
Oh, that comes out this week?
Yes, on
Wow.
Friday. And then Resident Evil 2 Remake No Time to Mourn DLC for the PC,
there you go.
PS4, and Xbox. That's all coming out February 15th, this Friday. We did have 2 oops. You've already kind of mentioned it, voiced by Nathan. In Apex Legends, which game I've never heard of, you earn the resource currency left from loot boxes, the middle currency from gameplay, the right currency from buying coin packs. Coin packs are the only way to buy the loot boxes, and it only takes one type of currency to unlock a legend, either the middle or right side coins. I've unlocked both legends by using coins. I got currency from being in EA Access, and I also bought the starter pack. Nathan Dugas, this is only sort of an oops, but Final Fantasy VII coming to Switch is not a new announcement. It was announced last year for Switch, along with several other Final Fantasy HD remasters, 9, 10, 10-2, 12, The Zodiac Age, and Crystal Chronicles, and another spin-off or 2. And are also coming to Xbox, all for the first time. Previously, Final Fantasy 7 through 12 had never been on any non-PlayStation console.
That's right.
They all came to PC over the years, and a few of them also came to smart devices.
Yep.
8 has not been announced yet, but since this year it's the 20th anniversary and it hasn't come to PS4 yet either, chances are that it will be announced first for PS4 and then come to other platforms.
I did not play 8. I skipped that one. I don't know why. I didn't like it. Yeah, I didn't like it for some reason.
Oh, there you go.
Mhm.
We will get MPD for January of 2019, our first one for this year. Probably next week. The report should be finalized this week, and so we should get it next week. So I'm looking forward to seeing how 2019 is starting. And that is it for me. Back to you, gentlemen.
Chris McCracken.
Gabriel Patillo.
He's a McCracken the healer. His name is Chris.
All right, so just going to update with some stats from the Apex Legends team, or more specifically, Vince Zampella, who did a blog post. He's the head of Respawn Entertainment. He said that there have been more than 25 million players right now that have played Apex Legends across all the platforms it is a part of.
Which is crazy.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
We need to add that that's crazy.
It is crazy. He also mentioned that they have reached well over 2 million peak concurrent players across the platforms this past weekend. And so just as a little little aside, or not aside, sorry, but a reminder, the game dropped on February 4th. It hit 1 million players within 8 hours, and then that increased to 2.5 million players within the first day. Now, these numbers still pale in comparison to Fortnite overall, which is still the big dog on the thing. They have over 200 million players, and they've had their peak of their concurrents was 8.3 million. So it's like it's doing great for himself. Some people were like, "Oh, it's the Fortnite killers." Like, "Oh, let's hit the brakes a little bit here." I mean, yeah, it's good, but let's just wait and see how this all ends up going.
Right.
And of course, Vince Zampella went on to talk about how, this is a game as a service and everything. And he said specifically, our goal is to build this game with you, our community. So continue to give feedback because we really are listening, which is one thing for me. Like every time I feel like developers, when a new game comes out or wherever, they're always like, oh, or even these betas, they're like, we really want your feedback. I never know where to give the feedback other than like hitting them up on Twitter. And I'm sure it says somewhere, but I never know. So, I mean, if you have feedback, I would say like, yes, continue to do that. They announced a couple like little event things that they're going to be doing. They're having this event on Twitch called the Apex Legends Challenge. It's where they're getting 48 streamers, and they're all going to play like a competition against each other, and it's going to be live streamed on Twitch. They are doing some Valentine's Day related loot drops. I'm assuming are going to be starting tomorrow and then going over through the weekend. Now, here's the thing about me for Apex Legends, or not really Apex Legends, but more Respawn specifically, that kind of gets me a little like, okay, well, let's just see here. So the thing is that they stealth dropped this game.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Like they announced it and then they dropped it, which, by the way, it still kind of blows my mind because you remember whenever Bethesda was like, Fallout 4, and then like 6 months later it dropped and people were like, that's so awesome. It came out so fast. And then this one, they announced it and then bam, go play it right now. Like that's ridiculous. But they got Apex Legends. Vince Zampella went on to also say that Respawn is working on something new in the Titanfall universe to be released later this year. So that could be just like a small little thing, or maybe an add-on to Titanfall 2. I don't know. I doubt it's going to be like a Titanfall 3, a full game, but they're working on that. They're also working on a first-person shooter VR game, competitive VR game, and they are also in development of a Star Wars game, Jedi: The Fallen Order, that is currently slated to come out sometime in 2019. So
really,
that is a lot of stuff for Respawn Entertainment, which they've been around a good number of years now. But they broke off. They used to be Infinity Ward, and then a bunch of them broke off and formed Respawn. I don't think they're a massive team, so I'm getting a little bit of fear that they're telltaling themselves, where it's like you're taking on way too much right away. I mean, because Apex Legends is a game that, yes, it's extremely popular right now, and time will tell if that's going to continue to be popular, but it's very much a free-to-play games as a service game. Like, it needs constant support. So you add that, and then you add whatever it is they're making for Titanfall, you add this VR game and this Star Wars game. Is like, that feels like a lot for one team to be working on. So I'm a little nervous in that respect, that they may be biting off a bit more than they can chew, because I don't want all those things sound cool. I don't want any of them to suffer. But maybe Respawn's gotten way bigger than I know that it is. Maybe there are 1,000 people now. I don't really know. I just know from their humble beginnings, they were a really small team in the beginning.
Can we just, though, give a quick shout out to EA? Like, as big of a problem that we've talked about EA being as a business before, and most hated this for that year, most hated this, they have Apex and Anthem this month.
You know, that's, yes, I'm totally fine to give them the kudos for that, but it's also a weird situation too. So if you remember, when Titanfall 2 came out, a lot of people kind of like bagged on EA for not setting Respawn up for success, because Titanfall 2 landed in between, like, what was it? It was Battlefield 1, and there was some other EA game, first-person game or something like that. And so Titanfall 2 didn't do nearly the numbers it probably would have because of when it was dropped.
Right.
I feel like EA is doing them a solid by saying, hey, here's your own launch window for Apex Legends and dropping it. But in a way, they're kind of screwing over BioWare with Anthem, because I feel like Apex is getting so much attention. Yeah. I feel like all the talk's gone away from Anthem. And of course, it didn't help that when Anthem had its private beta and then even its public beta, they were a little janky.
Problems.
They had some problems. So I'm sure that's not helping their situation, but it's like, man.
It's hard because they're two such different games.
Yes, that I will say. These two are vastly different, whereas when they dropped Titanfall 2, like, it was like, why are you dropping another shooter to compete against your other shooter in shooter season? Yeah, exactly. It's like, that seems like a bad idea.
And that's the only reason I think it's a little different. Like, you know, to go to a free battle royale and then go to a Destiny-esque, you know, pay to play, as in go buy it at the store game. To me, now it's not maybe two totally different gamers, but one's going to be drawn, like Ed is saying, like, he's done like battle royale, period. Yes. And so one kind of person is definitely going to be drawn to Anthem. Anthem had the hype train, right? Where Apex Legends didn't. Apex just, you know, came out of no place, like you're saying. So I'm just saying, like, it's just nice to see a company know what's good.
I agree.
And that's where I'm like, man, good for EA right now.
And for Respawn in particular, I've been, because I was a big Call of Duty guy, and I followed, you know, Vince Zampella and his partner at the time, Jason West, who helped co-found Respawn, but then he ended up leaving. I followed them when they were part of Call of Duty, and then when all that Fallout came out and they broke off, I've always rooted for Respawn and been like, oh, I really want whatever they do next to be cool. And then so they're the reason that I bought the Titanfall launch Xbox One, the bundle one, because I wanted to play their game, because I knew their history and their pedigree, and I enjoyed their other games. And unfortunately for myself, Titanfall 1 never really, I just didn't ever really grab onto it. I ended up stopped playing that game, and I never even bought Titanfall 2. I did play the beta, but it just seemed like more of the same to me, and so I didn't buy in. So I'm super excited that Apex Legends is so good, because I'm enjoying finally a game that Respawn made. And you were talking about EA earlier, like, they've been struggling a lot on the Star Wars games right now. A bunch of them been canceled. Battlefront's been having issues when it did come out, Battlefront 2. Like, this is the only other Star Wars game on because they're the only ones with the license. And this Jedi Fallen Order is the only other game. And Respawn's working on it, which gives me hope, because I think they're a great developer. But man, it just scares me that they're taking on too much right now. I really hope that's not the case. Yeah. I want them to continue this train of like, man, Respawn is awesome. I don't want them to have any rocky roads.
Yeah,
that's right.
So we'll just have to see. But a lot of success right now for both EA and Respawn. So kudos to them.
That's right. And just get a stick here for just a second. There's a Twitter called Apex Update. You know, looks like one of those Twitter things that kind of digs around in the code and things like that and kind of tries to come out with news. So 2 quick things to note. It looks like Twitch Prime members will soon receive a new Pathfinder skin and 5 Apex packs, which is not a huge deal, but, you know, kind of cool. But they say dig around in the code. It looks like they are working on, but no release date for solo and duo game modes coming soon. So, Chris?
Yeah, so about that, I think I've kind of come around to your side a little bit. After playing the game for like, I do think duos is going to be great, and there's a lot of times where I can find one other player, but I can't find a third, and we just end up finding teaming up with the rando to play. I do think solos. The more I've played the game now, I'm like, okay, solos might be tough. Not, yeah, solos might not work, but if they do indeed bring out duos, I do think duos could work, and I'd be super happy about that.
I found what's fun about the game. One of the things that's nice for me, at least. I've found a character in each class that I actually enjoy playing. And so it doesn't feel like, oh, well, if everybody played solos, everybody would be the assault characters. Yeah. I don't think that's actually would be the case. Where I play Lifeline, is that
she's honestly like probably one of the strongest characters in the game. Like her stuff is
not that VO is not
really helpful. Yeah, she's
Listen, I can't do accents, so I'm not hating on the fact that she tried, but having a Jamaican family, you can really tell the difference.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you're like, oh, she's just doing that. Unless for some reason I look her up and she ends up being Jamaican, I will be floored if she's actually Jamaican.
Yeah.
But to me, she's not saying anything right. It feels like it's coming and going a bit.
It's funny because you're not the only one that said that, but like I've never been to Jamaica. I don't know any actual Jamaican people, so to me it's just like I mean I think that's right. I don't know.
Yeah,
that's what it sounds like on the movies.
Yeah, exactly.
I have no idea. So when I heard that from you, I was like, oh man.
It sounds like she's like
someone who knows.
You're right. We should drop down and go check over there real quick. That's how it feels like to me. I'm like,
oh really?
She starts off strong, and she just not everything she says sounds Jamaican. Anyway,
not adding up, huh?
That's funny.
Gotcha.
Not quite adding up. So I tweeted about this. I'm just really sad about this Sony PlayStation Classic that's come out because people have torn it to bits. We know that it dropped at $100, which I think all of us said was a bit expensive. And we've seen it go on sale after sale after sale. And now it's at Walmart for $40, which is obviously less than half the price. And so
not making any money there.
well, you would think that it only costs them like 35 cents to make these things.
That's true. Yeah.
But I don't know how the licensing works, but
I don't
it just makes me sad because from Jump Street, people were like, oh my gosh, this UI is awful. And some of the games, blah, 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 blah. You know, obviously you weren't going to please everybody on the games list. Like, what is it, 20 games or something like that?
Yes.
And so I put it on Twitter or something like that. And it was interesting to see people like, oh yeah, I bought mine at $100, then returned it when I saw it was on sale. Now I have to return it again because I still haven't opened it. And so, it's just bumped down and down and down. Some people are like, yeah, I got it for $36. Yeah, I got it for $40. Yeah, I got it for $25. You know, like that's just crazy. The fact that it's gone this poorly. You know, and I love Sony and everything, but I think this might have been a big swing and a miss because they were just trying to ride that train of, oh, look what Nintendo did. We're going to do that too real quick. And just when you look at video of the UI, you're like, how did this make it out? Like,
wow,
really?
Who would have thought this was a good idea? Yeah, it just looks really bad. Anyway, come on, y'all. Come on, Sony. You could have done better than that. Sorry about it.
Sorry, not sorry.
Yeah, sorry, not sorry. What you got, Chris?
So sticking with some of the Sony stuff, Sean Layden, the Worldwide Studios CEO, someone who Gabe admits, hey, what's up, Sean? He's like, hey, man, keep gaming. You remember that at E3?
Oh, yeah, that was awesome.
At E3, that's
right.
right.
We totally appreciate it. It was more than,
exactly.
There's a reason he asked our names. Yeah.
He came out and gave a little bit more, expanded a little bit on some of the reasoning behind like dropping out of E3 and a couple of the other reasons why they're doing things. So basically, he was talking with CNET, and he was saying, look, E3 started, as everybody kind of knows, it was a trade show. People would go there, retailers would go there, and journalists would go there. Journalists would go to learn about the new games, then retailers would go there because they were like making decisions and deals about like what games they were going to buy for the year and do things. He said, so as the way that E3 started, clearly it's no longer that anymore. And then he said they have this event in kind of internally over there in February called Destination PlayStation, and that is where they bring in the retailers, and that's where they all make their purchasing and buying decisions. Basically, what used to be done at E3 now happens through this event. And then he said like June is just way too late for them to be making buying decisions for their holiday season and everything like that. And then on top of that, the way that the internet is 24/7 these days, it's like it doesn't make sense really to have that one trade show. And then for Sony specifically, currently right now, and as you kind of saw last year, it's like as they're getting into these later years of the generation, they're starting to really focus on doing fewer games but bigger games, and like their launches are getting like spread out a little bit thinner because they're coming towards the end. It's like it didn't feel right to say, hey, everybody's coming to this event and they're expecting you to have all these things to show when really we don't have these things to show because we're focusing in on nailing these
on what we've shown already.
Yeah, exactly. Well, we're still working on getting these one things out, and we don't have all this other stuff. And he said it doesn't feel right. People come there obviously expecting that, oh, you're going to show us a bunch of stuff because you're having this event and you're having this press conference, and then not really having stuff to show them. He's like, so we want to do smaller things spread out throughout the year as things come up closer to what we want to do. Kind of similar to like the way basically the way that Nintendo does it, because I feel like everybody kind of gave Nintendo a hard time when they stopped showing up to E3 and were only doing these direct things. But it was kind of like forward thinking, because if you think about it, especially the way things are now, that's probably the better way to do things. You just release things here and there throughout as the year as it goes. And that's really all you need to do. You don't need, now granted, I'm in the camp of the events seem cool and everything. And yes, we got to go to the E3 that one time. The one thing that was a slight bummer is that I didn't get to go see an E3 press conference. That would have been really, really cool. And it looks like I'm maybe never going to get to do something like that. But at the same time, it does kind of make sense. Now we'll see how this goes, because clearly Microsoft's got the stage. They'll be able to just bang it out.
Yeah, they'll own it. They're going to own E3.
They're going to have a lot of the mind share at this year's E3, since they're one of the few people that's doing like the traditional press conference and all that kinds of stuff. So maybe they'll do gangbusters, and Sony will be like, shoot, man, we got to get back on this train. You know, who knows how it'll go. Yeah. But I mean,
man,
it at least makes sense. You know,
I'll tell you this much. As we come up on it, actually, I'm an All-Stars weekend guy. I love the dunk contest. I love the 3-point contest. I love East versus West. I love when the whole thing comes together and they're all doing the things all at one time for 1 week. Yeah. That's what I looked at E3 as. Now, this could totally be nostalgia. And the fact that I've been watching E3, you know, on my computer and, you know, since I was a kid, it feels like. But like, listen, I get it. I get the numbers. I get that there's the internet. But I think nothing beats that huge media push of us all talking about video games that week and sitting with, you know, no, maybe not with bated breath anymore, but like kind of to see what they are offering for the next year or the years to come. And so I get that Sony wants to focus all the attention on them. So when they do a PlayStation experience thing, everybody's just watching that and you're not being distracted by all these other things. But I just like the pandemonium of it, honestly. I like it all being at one time, and that 70,000 people descend on downtown Los Angeles, you know, taking out all the tens of thousands of people that already work down there. And they all go to the convention center and they're all excited and they're smiling and walking around and, oh, let me check out this game. Oh, let me check out this game, and bouncing around back and forth and getting to, you know, for me that got to experience it a couple more times than you guys. I love it. And the fact that it could be dying a slow death, like, kills me a little bit inside.
Yeah.
I mean, because go ahead, brother.
It's the Super Bowl of information, because you get the press conferences, and so then you get all these cool trailers and releases. Then you can like go there and, you know, 9 times out of 10 see some of that and play some of that. And I'm kind of with you, Gabe. I think it should be. I like that they did open it to the general public, but at the same time, maybe that kind of lessened it a little bit for a lot of people. Well, and more so for a lot of the developers too. They're like, well, if the general public's going to be there, we could just do our own thing and save a ton of money on this booth right now.
Yes, and I get that. I get that it's not what it was.
Yeah. I'm curious. But so does that mean?
But it's summertime. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's summer. It's like June. When they do blockbuster movies during the summertime. You know what I'm saying? It just feels right. But, I get it from a business standpoint. Maybe the numbers, I don't know.
Does that mean that starting this year, like, we're not going to see the press conferences that we normally do?
I mean, we won't see it from Sony.
I mean, Microsoft is still doing their thing, although technically, I think technically separate from E3, just during E3 week. And then EA and whoever else that does their stuff offsite technically on their own. I'm sure like we'll still be doing their thing. I think for the most part this year, it's going to be the same. You'll probably get a Nintendo Direct. It's just, I think the only one that will be different is that Sony won't be there in any like big time capacity. I'm sure they have something. But as far as the E3 stuff, like you were mentioning about the big spectacle, I've always greatly enjoyed the spectacle thing too.
Yeah, man.
But it is going to be a little bit of a bummer to see that, like, if it all eventually fades away completely, it'll be a bit of a bummer. But at the same time, I kind of like more the trickle of things throughout the year, or I like the direction that goes. And the way we just talked about Apex Legends, and I know not every game is going to be this way, but I like nobody talks about, hey, here's this quick thing, and then it's out like that week. Like, that's crazy. I would honestly, like, if that could happen all the time, I would much rather prefer that than seeing a ton of stuff at E3 that's years away and then have to see it at a couple E3s. I mean, and I know that it wasn't always the case. Yep. There was only a few years where certain, teams would do that kinds of stuff. But I mean, I don't want to see a game at three different trade shows and then it's still 2 years away necessarily. I mean, I do, but I don't at the same time. It's like, oh man, I don't know. I'm willing to, I guess I'm saying I'm willing to give this new direction because it's going to happen anyways. I'm willing to see like how it goes and will it work out. But I agree that the spectacle thing, and I'm absolutely glad that we all got to go to E3 together and experience that together as a time before, it maybe started on its downward turn or whatever. I'm glad we got to do that.
Yeah. I mean, as much as, I enjoy the big spectacle of it as well and watching the pressers and stuff. But at the same time, it's kind of like, well, what if all the new movie trailers came out on one day or 1 week and then that was it for the year? I kind of like, you never know what's going to happen and this is going to pop up. And like Chris was saying, I just like that.
The trickle
being
more.
Surprised.
Yeah, I feel you. I love where they're like, boom, boom, boom. And then the trickle being the updates throughout the year where they're like, hey, here's where we're at on this game. And then you get to see more, because the trickle's going to happen regardless.
The trickle is always, okay, here's this, this game is coming out not this year now.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, did we remind you that Days Gone is coming?
But see, that's what I'm saying is like, it doesn't need to be that way. And again, I understand it won't always work this way, but I think one of the big reasons that Apex hit the ground running so hard and with so many people is that it was just like, oh, hey, and we got this thing and you can take it kind of thing. Like it was,
Apex hit the ground because it's good. Not because it was
yes, I understand that, but I'm saying like, let's say The Last of Us, if The Last of Us just dropped, like you just get this weird trailer and at the end it says Last of Us and then that later that week, that game drops. You telling me that wouldn't have done well for itself?
Yeah, I mean, I'm saying it wouldn't have done well for itself.
You really don't think The Last of Us would have done
not at $60? Without knowing anything about it. One of the reasons that Apex did so good is number one, it's good, and number two, it's free. Like we can't get away. Like I wouldn't have got it if it was cost money.
I would have, but
just to check on something that you have no idea about.
I know that it's from Respawn, and all I would have to do is watch some of the stuff, and I know like, oh yeah, I want to give this a shot. I mean, but
what I'm saying is the reason they racked up 1 million players in 8 hours.
No. I'm not saying necessarily like the huge player count, but I'm saying like it did well for itself, and then I think that, and I'm not saying like every game can't like release and drop this like announce and then drop in the same week, but I'm saying maybe back up a little bit more like the Bethesda thing where like they announce it and then like 6 months later it's done. Like I think the time of like here's Final Fantasy VII the remake and then 5 years later we still don't know anything about it. Like I think those days need to be done now. We don't need.
I think you're talking about two totally different things. A 5-year wait and a 6-month wait are obviously vastly different. The way we've waited for Kingdom Hearts 3, it's obviously crazy in comparison to what we got out of Apex. And I agree. The trickle will happen regardless because we have the internet now. I'm just on the side of saying that having the Super Bowl as Router put it, or All-Star Weekend, I don't think is necessarily a bad thing.
No, it's not. But you know what? I will say I think it's going to cut out a lot of the hype train for games that we know are not coming out anytime soon. And honestly, I would
Which
probably
is what Chris is saying is the good thing.
Right. That's the great thing about that, is that the hype train stuff can kind of go away, because I don't like, I mean, I love getting the hype and the announcements of everything, but then I don't like not hearing about something 6 months later, or we don't even have a release date for The Last of Us 2, for crying out loud. And they came out with something 2 years ago on PSX.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, I want to know, I want the Bethesda treatment where here's our new game, 6 months is coming out, we have a release date. Oh, and hey, we've got a little added value DLC you can download tonight. Like that kind of stuff, that's perfect. Because then I know it's coming. I'm going to be more aware of that, and I'm not going to forget about it.
Yeah.
Versus, Gabe, I'm sure you went through it, Final Fantasy VII Remake, and crickets for the past 3 to 4 years.
Exactly. And they did admittedly say that they felt like things were leaking about it, and so they had to get ahead of the leaks. But I think if we went back and listened to our episode where we asked how long is too long to announce a game, I think we all probably said a year to 2 years.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's anything beyond 2 years is too early. Why would you even tell us?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I agree. I think we both kind of are, we overlap slightly in the middle somewhere. Where there is a sweet spot for sure. 5 years, obviously way too long.
Yeah.
Get it tonight. That works great in today's culture. Sony got freaking dragged through the mud for doing that 15 years ago. But what are you gonna do?
It is. I mean, it just is sad though, because E3 is it's just a time where everybody comes together.
Yeah.
We're all talking about video games. We're all talking about their new releases. You can play some of them, and it's like, it's nice to have that every once in a while.
Yeah.
And wait, did you mean Sega when you said Sony did that?
Oh yeah, sorry, I meant Sega. Yeah,
blocking that oops. Yeah.
Getting ahead of it, Chris McCracken.
Blocker. Pass. Nicely done.
Well played, sir.
I wanted to say this one story real quick, because I love it, and you rarely hear this. But this is coming from the Evening Express. It's a UK website. Researchers at the University of Oxford surveyed around 1,000 British 14 to 15-year-olds and their parents or guardians to test the view held by some that there is a link between games and aggressive behavior. What they came up with is we have found that there are a lot of things that feed into aggression. Violent video games does not seem to drive aggressive behavior in young people.
That's interesting.
Come get you some.
Seriously.
Mayor of Pennsylvania, or wherever the freak you were at.
Take that, Governor so-and-so.
Add the tax to violent video games. I just love that they set aside, and we always look at these things, we're like, well, 1,000, how they know they didn't choose the 1,000 kids that it doesn't, listen, this is how surveys work.
Yep.
That's what we're going with.
We surveyed 1,000 Quakers, and this is what we came up with. No, I honestly, I think that's awesome, because to me, that proves that video games, violent or not, can be a way to kind of release that aggression. And, you're not taking it out on something that's actually real and physical. This is your outlet for being able to do that.
What I'd be interested What I'd be interested to see is because I don't think it's linked to aggressive behavior in teens, but I wonder if it is to like 9-year-olds. You know what I'm saying? Like, I wonder if like between 8 and 12, like, is aggressive behavior happen there? And then between, 17 to 25, you know what I'm saying? It's interesting that they took 14 to 15-year-olds. I think because of your hormones are going crazy at that age. And so, if you're going to do something stupid, it's probably going to be at that age. But we also know that some of the most egregious things that we've seen do happen at an older age than 14 to 15. Anyway.
One of the things that bums me out whenever I hear a study like that done that kind of dispels the myth of games contributing to that kind of behavior is that I know that people that think otherwise aren't even gonna care.
Yeah,
like that's a bummer to me. It's like, ugh,
what does Oxford
more proof
know
that you're for you to ignore? Thank you.
Exactly.
Oh my gosh, that's funny.
We did this research so you can throw it in the trash.
Right, exactly. Chris, what else you got?
So Valve has released an update and a little information about an update they did to their Steam VR platform, and they specifically an update to the Vive's hardware, their light sensor tracking system. And so basically one of the developers went on and said the tracking system has internal sanity checks to identify when something goes wrong. Said, for example, if our math says that you're behind your sensor, well, clearly we made a mistake because you can't get behind your sensor. And one of the checks relates to how fast we went through how fast it is physically possible to move a controller and turn your wrist. It turns out that with proper motivation, humans using a light controller can move their wrist way faster than we thought. So basically, this is all because of the new update to Beat Saber.
Yep.
Oh,
Their
Extreme
system,
Plus.
people are moving faster to do the Expert Plus mode in Beat Saber than the system could track them. They're like, it's faster than we thought was humanly possible.
That's amazing.
So
cool.
people are able to move their hands and their wrists 3,600 degrees a second faster than they thought.
Wow.
So basically, they're flicking their wrist within 90 degrees from horizontal to vertical in 0.025 seconds, and they didn't think that was doable. So
Look
they
at
had
the
to
flick of the wrist.
I was just going to do that game.
No.
Look at the flick of the wrist.
Dude, if you watch have you either of y'all seen some of these videos of people playing Expert?
No,
Dude,
I've
It is
only seen.
ridiculous. I thought Expert was insane. Like, I don't understand. These people aren't humans. They're robots.
Well,
I can't
Ed's
even.
one of
I
them.
put on Expert Plus, and my mind couldn't even like process. I was like, I don't know what am I supposed? What? No, nope.
You definitely got to get rid of the 90-degree thing.
Yeah.
That's for sure. That's
definitely.
over. Yeah.
Jeez.
That's crazy.
Yeah, you
so
just
you
gotta
did
worry
try
about
it though,
hitting the thing.
Ed?
Yeah.
How did it feel? Just insane.
It was kind of like, you know, what those times in Overwatch when every time you leave the spawn, you get sniped by a widow in the head. It's like I would
you're
like
like,
to
how?
try to play.
Yeah.
Fail.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's almost like
Oh
you need to
my
record it
gosh.
at high speed, watch it back in slow mo, and then just like, and just keep
Yeah.
moving your
Yeah, right.
and just hope for the best.
Yeah. So yes, I was going to ask you, Ed. At that point, does it really just turn into memorization?
I don't know.
I thought that's what it was with hard.
No, it's not that hard. Amara
Because,
can do
like-
hard on some of those songs.
Yeah, because you know, like even on Expert for me, it wasn't about memorization. For some reason, I would catch myself saying, "How am I even processing this? I'm doing it, and I don't know how I'm doing it."
Yes. Yes.
And with this, it's like there's a bunch of lights. I don't know what to do, but there sure are a lot of lights here.
It's not even close to happening. Is what you're saying.
No, it's like I went to go read my book, and it's like, oh, this is in Sanskrit. I don't know what to do with this. I guess I'll just put it down and play video games.
Sheesh, Louise. That's crazy. I love that though.
Yeah.
Good times. Good job, Beat Saber.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I remember seeing that Expert Plus and I was like, you know what? Later. For that.
I guess I'm not the Jedi I thought I was.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah. That's funny. I'm all out. Chris, you out?
Yeah, I'm out.
Edward,
Yes, sir.
what do you got for us? You got anything for us?
Over on the YouTube site, I've got my gameplay of the Division 2 beta and my gameplay of Apex Legends if you want to see the one person that didn't get hooked on the gameplay.
Yeah.
I still had fun. It was still a good time. We were playing with friends. It was still fun. But if you haven't seen any footage of either one and you want to take a look, they are there on the YouTube channel for you to peruse.
There you go. I like that.
Yeah.
Any new reviews?
No new reviews.
Aw,
It's because you weren't
I
here
love
last week,
this.
too.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Good job. Thanks for ruining it for everyone.
Yeah,
I
sorry.
know, right?
Well, every
Yeah,
week we
Plus,
ask
people took back their review.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
still good. Every week we ask you guys a question. Last week was no different. We asked you guys, what is your favorite game series? Starting on Facebook, Della Simmons' Elder Scrolls franchise.
Hey, there you go.
There you go. I don't think I've played any Elder Scrolls games. I mean, I played Skyrim for like 3 seconds. Matthew Shepard, that's a tough one to answer. Mass Effect probably, but I didn't play Andromeda due to the negative press it received. I can't think of a series I would play regardless of how bad it was, so I just have to stick with the fact that Mass Effect Trilogy is so good. The story, gameplay, environments were all so good.
Man, they were.
I did like those two. Over on Twitter, we got Adam Redcell, Panzer Dragoon. Oh, there was a Panzer game on, was it Saturn or something? Sega Saturn? Oh, so good. Jody Nilsson, Uncharted.
Hey.
So far.
Hey.
Yeah,
Ooh,
at Jody
nice.
Draws.
I like that.
Talented girl right there.
Jacob
Hammond at Real Big Kong. I would have to say the Elder Scrolls series because I go back to Skyrim all the time and I love that type of fantasy game. You got
nice.
Which one of you guys played a bunch of Skyrim? Was that
Not
you,
me.
I did.
Tim?
Yeah, I played over 85 hours of it.
Goodness gracious. Over on Discord, Fluxel, without a doubt, Uncharted. Borderlands is probably a close second.
Oh,
Ooh,
nice.
All right, there you go.
Cheechzilla, Mario Kart is my initial response, but if Portal 3 ever comes out, that series would take the cake if there even isn't any cake. That's funny. That's funny.
Of cake.
MLS Chop, this question is impossible. So many great ones. How can I pick just one? I'll throw one out there that needs more love. Zero Escape series. Do you like room escape games? Do you like time travel, time loop stories? Do you like or can tolerate some anime-ish weirdness? Then I have the game series for you.
We know Gabe can.
Then you lost me.
Yeah, 999.
I know, right?
Virtue's Last Reward and Zero Time Dilemma make up the Zero Escape series. The first two can be purchased as a remastered bundle on PS4 called the Nannery Games. Check it out. Or the Nonery Games. Check it out. Nice. I've never heard of that. Zero Escape. No. You heard of that, Chris?
I've heard of the game. I've not played it.
Well, you guys know where to find us. Facebook.com/Married to the Games, Twitter.com/MTTGcast. Of course, marriedtothegames.com. Like Ed said, YouTube.com/Married to the Games. Now on Patreon, Patreon.com/MTTG. If you throw $1 in the tip jar, we'll be like, you threw $1 in the tip jar. Appreciate you.
Aw.
Give that point. Come by the Discord. Go by the Introduce Yourself channel. Let us know who you are.
Who you is.
Who is it? Beating on my door like the police. Who is
it? Nice.
And Router.
Rate us on iTunes so our wives don't get kidnapped by businessmen driving from Louisville, which would then give us more time to figure out what this new game Ajax Fledgons is all about.
Ajax. Nice. Fledgons. Ajax Fledgons.
Ajax Fledgons.
Wow.
That's off the dome, people.
Gabe thought you said
Ajax Fledgons. we need to get that domain name now.
Quickly.
We need to save it.
Ajax Fledgons.
Yeah, we need to buy that.
Do that.
Oh,
that's my new. That kind of like how Donald Glover has Childish Gambino. That's
your new rap name.
Ajax Fledgons.
That's
up
your
in
rap
the
name.
You need to start streaming No Work Fridays as your persona, Ajax Fledgons.
Ajax Fledgons.
Oh my gosh!
Dude, please do that. Please do that.
Such a good idea.
Oh, that's awesome.
But then you would get a bunch of Twitch subscribers, and who wants that problems? You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
Why would you want the world watching?
Exactly.
You've come to watch Ajax Fledgons.
Exactly.
This is a Twitch stream.
This is a Twitch stream. Don't catch you slipping up. Oh my gosh. Well, let's get into some questions.
Legends.
That's why
Even
it's
now,
too early.
we'll add it in afterwards.
No, because it's Ed's joke. Now I can't steal it.
That's true.
I mean, you could.
You're the
That's
editor.
all
You
good.
can edit his, you can edit his comments.
I
out.
know. I know the truth.
I am a funny Ajax.
Oh my god!
All right, let's go. Discord, Beefmaster, Serta. If you were a fish, what kind of fish would you be, and which ocean or sea would you live in?
What?
Yeah, man.
I mean,
don't
I'm
know.
sorry, Ed, but I'd be a shark.
Yeah, I'd be a shark too,
Yeah.
baby.
And I'd just be in one of the big oceans.
I'd be in the Caribbean where it's nice and warm and blue.
That's what I'm saying.
Ooh,
yeah,
good call.
give me the Gulf where I can scare all those people in Panama City Beach.
Oh, that's perfect. I like that. I like where your head's at, Gabe. That's nice.
You're welcome,
Mm-hmm.
Edward.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be a shark too.
Really?
Yay!
Yeah.
Oh, Edward Shark, do 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 do. Edward Shark, do 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 do. Edward Shark, do 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 do. Edward Shark.
Boom.
Okay.
All right,
And
moving on.
Yeah.
Chowfie, here we go. What article of clothing or fashion style were you way back in the day into that would fully embarrass you today? Pegged pants. Wait, pegged pants, not FTW.
I had a flat top for a long time.
Oh,
Mm-hmm. Chris?
In middle school, I had those really wide leg jeans.
Oh, the what are they called? Jankos?
Yeah, Jinkos, I think. is how you
Jinkos?
say it.
Mhm.
JNCO.
Mm.
I could see you wearing those.
I had some of those.
In your skateboard days.
Oh, yeah, man.
Edward?
I was doing the Weird Al Hawaiian shirts and
Oh.
the canvas high top airwalk shoes. Love those.
yeah, man, the Airwalks
There
back
you
in the
go.
day.
Yeah,
That's
man,
awesome.
Airwalks
They're
are
still
good.
around.
Tim? Fig leaf?
I did the old right. Wolf skin. No, mammoth skin.
Unable to cut hair because we don't have scissors.
Going back to that, are we? All right. I see how that goes.
Dirt on skin.
Dirt on face.
Yeah.
Ashes on face, yeah.
Mud on face. Oh, that's good.
shoot.
Okay. I'm not dignifying that with a response then. Oh. Okay. That was great. Fig leaf. I love that. I'm going fig leaf. That's it.
Yeah.
I can't beat that. Fig leaf it is. All right, boys. MTTG Street Team, we have a quick fire.
Oh, yes.
One must go, so we have to eliminate one of these. Ready?
Okay.
Cars or indoor plumbing?
Cars.
These are tough, by the way.
Shoot. Cars or indoor plumbing?
Which one has to go?
Oh, they don't even have anything to do with each other.
No, that's the crazy thing.
Oh, I knew this one was going to be easy for Ed. Dude hates cars.
I'm not like a fan of poop and stuff. I gotta go with cars.
Anybody really is.
Says the man with 3 young children.
I know. I'm going cars.
See, here's the thing.
I got a
It's like,
motorcycle.
I can drive a motorcycle. I'll go cars.
Yeah, I'm going cars too.
Wait, okay, so
I have
No,
both.
man,
we're
I'm
doing
going-
that. Like, I just assume cars, I mean, like, vehicles are gone.
Yeah,
We're not-
yeah, even if it was vehicles, I'd say vehicles.
Yeah, even if it was vehicles, that's right. I just
Okay.
stay here.
Yeah, I kind of got to have that indoor plumbing.
Chris,
So I think cars are going. I'll walk everywhere.
I guess I gotta say car. Honestly, it's not the bathroom thing. I've used an outhouse before. I'm fine with that.
Yeah,
and
right?
I can do the rest of it. Anywhere. I'm a dude.
And I can
just go
pee
in the
out of a
woods.
car window if I have
But
to.
the thing
for crying
is
out loud.
like the
What the world?
showers and all that. Like I don't want to go to
Right.
heat up the water and pouring it in a bath. Like I don't want to do
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
And the running
Yep,
water, like
hey, you gotta go
Doing the
down to the
dishes?
river and bathe.
yeah, I gotta
Yep.
get rid of cars. Dang it, that sucks.
Yeah, it sure does. I agree with you.
Mhm. Yeah, this one's gonna hurt even more. Wi-Fi or coffee?
No, coffee's gone.
Yeah, unfortunately, man.
yeah,
the
coffee's
internet's
gone.
just too.
I'm Ed.
Wait.
what do you say?
Is it the internet or is it Wi-Fi?
It
'Cause
says
Wi-Fi-
Wi-Fi.
I was
like-
It says
I can hook
Wi-Fi. So
my stuff up to my phone and use that as a hotspot.
Yeah, or you could you always Ethernet in everything like it used to be.
Right?
yeah, if he said internet or coffee, that would be
Then it'd be
that
coffee
changes,
for sure.
That changes the game. Yeah.
Mhm.
What say you, Edward, the coffee aficionado?
Just because of what I do for work, I would have to say coffee because I have to. I have to have the internet.
Yep,
no, but you don't have to have Wi-Fi.
Oh yeah, if I can get like hardlined or whatever, then it's definitely I'll keep
Wi-Fi.
coffee.
Yeah. I say we keep coffee. It makes the world go round.
Okay.
Exactly. It helps us figure out how to get around no Wi-Fi.
I was gonna say if we keep coffee, we'll eventually invent Wi-Fi.
Exactly.
Hey, there you go.
What
Thanks,
says
Starbucks.
you, router?
Yeah, I'll keep Wi-Fi for now
Ooh, we.
because it's my livelihood.
Yeah. Telling you, man, get that long Ethernet cord like
Exactly.
you used to do back
I
in the
love
day.
me. Exactly, man. Or just plug in that phone. Like, yep. Let's get that dial-up going again. All right. Wireless controllers or internet memory on gaming. Wireless controllers or internal memory on gaming systems.
Internal memory.
Gone?
Yeah, it's gone.
Yeah.
You can just mod it like Ed.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's what I'm planning to do.
Yep. Yeah, I agree. I'm keeping
I
the
gotta have
wireless
a
controllers.
Yeah, man.
Mhm.
I don't need to sit too close to the TV like Ed does already.
Yeah, man.
On the knees.
On the knees, on the floor. Okay. Ooh, pizza or burgers?
Doggone it. Who sent this in? One of the street team guys?
Stapleton Street Team.
I'll get rid of pizza.
Yeah, I'm gonna say pizza too. Dang it.
This is
You know
tough
what?
one, fellas.
I'm getting rid of burgers because pizza is easier to make. You don't necessarily need a cow to
Burgers
make
are
it.
way
They're both
easier to
easy
make
for me to
than
make. I go
pizza.
someplace and the other person makes it.
I know.
Right.
That's it. Yeah, I couldn't tell you last time I made either one.
But if we were in an apocalypse with no cars, Wi-Fi, or internal memory, so resources are low, you probably have a better shot at making a pizza than you would a burger.
I'm getting rid of hamburgers. Oh, God.
Okay.
Really? Wow.
I can't even believe I'm saying that. I really
All
love
right.
pizza. Ugh.
Yep. Last one: Nintendo or Xbox?
See you, Nintendo.
Peace off, Nintendo.
No way, man. Xbox.
I know you would.
I have to
It has
say
to be Xbox.
I have to say Xbox too.
Really?
Yeah, if you really
No,
think
I'm-
about it, it's got to be. Neither of y'all even play your Xboxes.
It's true.
It's got to be
Because
Xbox
we have our
because when you
PlayStations.
look at the broad spectrum, PlayStation, Xbox are kind of the same thing,
Yeah.
and Nintendo's just its own thing. And I feel like it needs to exist, even though I don't play it.
Yeah, it's got to be Xbox.
Yeah, but I would.
Wow.
I'm saying kill Nintendo because I would play more Xbox, PlayStation style games versus Nintendo.
Yeah, but you just said Xbox, PlayStation.
But Game Pass.
But
there you go.
Game Pass.
Thanks, Ed. Good
See,
recovery.
in this scenario, I'm getting rid of Xbox in my head, though. Them and Sony are actually just merging into one giant conglomerate, and
Oh,
so
I gotcha.
that's where my head's going.
Even if they don't merge, Xbox still got to go. You got to have Nintendo. You got to have
See, I was
somebody
thinking-
other than
I
the
was-
thing.
I was thinking the same thing, except the opposite. Even if they don't merge, I still
Yes.
got to get rid of Nintendo.
Yeah, I'm Ed. I'm with you on this one.
That is so interesting. Huh.
Yeah, my
Okay.
brain, I want to say Nintendo, but I'm the reason I'm not is because I do think they're important for the industry, even though I would much rather play an Xbox than a Nintendo product right now.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm not thinking industry wise. I'm just thinking
Yeah.
personally, selfishly.
yeah.
Yeah.
for me.
Personal
I know. Yeah, I
game
gotcha.
wise, I would rather I would play more Xbox games than I would Nintendo, even though I don't play a single Xbox game right now.
I was about to say, yeah, you said you've played your Wii U more than
Well, that's-
your Xbox.
Yeah,
your Xbox not even
for
plugged
me.
in.
It's very true. Very true.
We got to think
But-
about these answers.
Yeah, well, I'm thinking on the fly.
It's quickfire, man. We're not
It's
supposed to be
quickfire.
thinking.
You're
That's the
supposed
point.
to.
That's right.
Knee
All
jerk
right.
reaction.
Hey, the
Exactly.
quick fire continues. We got Mr. Pastor Pickled Ham. It's Valentine's Day tomorrow, or yesterday if you're listening on Friday. And as long as I am not too late, I bring you your love-themed quick fire.
All right.
All right.
Ready? Let's go. Personal preference to celebrate or not to celebrate Valentine's Day?
Not celebrate.
Not celebrate.
Celebrate.
Ooh, there you go. I don't need a day
Can we like say what celebrate even means? Like, I won't even be here for Valentine's Day. So
It
But-
means acknowledge it and do a thing and say happy this thing.
Do a thing
Right.
you wouldn't do normally.
Right. I've
Yeah.
always said I don't need a day to remind me of the love that I have for my wife and family.
I
So,
understand that, but
I'm
you
not-
guys are
I
good
ain't
guys. That's what I fall back on. I'm around a lot of crazy marriages where this is some of the only time the wife even gets flowers.
Mm-hmm. Oof, okay.
So
well,
I understand you guys are great husbands, but I say celebrate it.
All right, I like that. Good logic. I'm changing mine to celebrate then. That's actually really nice. I kind of feel like crap now.
I was
Thanks,
thinking
Gabe.
of it selfishly. And whatever Ed said earlier.
I was just thinking of what we do.
Yeah, that's what we don't.
More reason why you should have Valentine's Day. As you say, you're thinking about it selfishly. That's funny.
Yes, there needs to be a day to celebrate your love. Okay, I love it. We got everybody on that one?
Yeah.
Okay,
these guys don't need it, but
right. With people. Your wife, do you prefer hugs or kisses? Please try to pick one, even though the obvious best answer is both.
I mean, is hugging like cuddling?
Whatever. Yeah, sure.
I'm just taking it as just hugging. I'm gonna do hugging because I can do that anywhere. Stacey's not really like a PDA person.
Yep, same.
You know?
I love a good bear hug.
You never get awkward if you just give someone a hug. It can get awkward if you're like mugging down.
Start making out in the middle.
That can get weird.
Middle of Target. Yeah.
I'm gonna say we're keeping hugging too because I don't want to have to greet everyone with a kiss.
Yes,
true.
Yeah.
Yes, I like that. Okay, for your wife, flowers or chocolates?
Flowers.
Chocolates.
Ooh, nice. Flowers for me.
She likes both. I guess I'll go chocolate.
There you go.
Nice. For your wife, again, a haiku or rhyming poem?
Rhyming poem. I still don't understand what a haiku is.
Yeah, 575. I say she wouldn't even know it was a haiku.
Exactly. Rhyming poem.
For Sarah, I would say poem as long as it's to a dance beat.
Nice.
So a song.
Really want either. Yeah, exactly. Just really want either one.
So a rap is what you're saying. Yeah,
exactly.
Sarah needs a rap
song.
every time. Yeah.
You are now rapping.
Yeah.
Congratulations. Your preferred night with the wife, a night in or night out?
Out.
In.
We got 3 kids in.
I know, right? In. I don't know. I might.
Hence celebrating Valentine's Day.
There you go.
A good excuse for the babysitter.
I'm gonna say in.
I'm gonna go night out. We don't go out.
That's on the parent lines right there, boy. That's Trust me. I don't know if anybody with kids would say in.
Yeah, that's very true.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we're going out. But well, then here we go. Preferred date night out, dinner and a movie or something else? Just fill
something else.
Something else. I just don't know what the something else is most of the time.
Yeah, what else? Well, maybe going to a concert or going to a play or something. Who knows?
Yeah.
Oh, snap! Speaking of which, one of my birthday presents was to go to the Nashville Symphony for the music of John Williams, which was
nice,
amazing.
Nice.
They played Superman. They played, and then, of course, they ended with Star Wars. The whole place went nuts. And then, like, they did the Star Wars theme. I'm like, oh, man, please play March of the Empire. Please play March of the Empire. And so the conductor goes away. And he does an encore. He's like, all right, one more. And boom, they do March of the Empire at the end. And I almost shed a tear. It was amazing. It sounded so good.
I bet it was
powerful
sitting right there.
It was so good. Man, our Nashville Symphony is really talented. Like,
oh, yeah, I bet.
Like, Music City it should be.
Yeah, man. Right? Everything sounded amazing. They did Superman, Jurassic Park. They did Raiders of the Lost Ark, Star Wars. I mean, you name it, they pretty much did it. So it was really cool.
Sorry, they do Home Alone?
They did not. I apologize.
What?
Home Alone. Kevin!
That'd be amazing.
That's a great. I love that soundtrack.
It is.
It is a good soundtrack.
It is good. That's why it's just funny to think of it on the same page as like Star Wars.
I know, man. I love John Williams.
Yeah, he's a beast.
Okay, romantic movie. The Notebook or P.S. I Love You?
I haven't seen either.
I don't think I've seen.
Which one's
I'm
P.S. I Love You?
I'm familiar with Notebook. I don't think I've ever seen the whole thing. I've not heard the other one.
P.S. I Love. I'm looking up the cover real quick. Notebook. That's a better story.
Yeah, I'm going Notebook too, I guess. Worst romantic movie genre: rom-com or Lifetime movies?
Lifetime.
What? That's not even close.
Yeah, Lifetime.
Rom-coms can be great.
Yeah, I've never heard anybody say I saw this movie on Lifetime and it was awesome.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, rom-coms gotta be.
All right. There's our quick fire. Thank you.
Yes.
for that one there, Mr. Lucas. All right, Facebook. Travis Pospisil, how hooked into subscription services are you? I was thinking it wasn't that bad, but there is Game Pass, PSN, Xbox Live, Hulu, Netflix, Amazon Prime, Loot Crate, and many, many more. They have been draining all of our wallets.
Mm-hmm.
Very into them.
Yeah,
Yes.
I'm into them more than I would have thought a few years ago
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
that I would be. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a brilliant marketing tactic.
It really is.
Mhm.
It's up there with like 99 cents. I feel
Yeah.
like as a marketing ploy.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, no, that's great.
Yep.
All right. Sherry Crow. Here we
Hey,
go. Gabe,
Mama Bread
Gabe,
fan.
how did your coworker do on Wheel of Fortune? So bummed I didn't see Toby's tweet about him and his wife being on until today.
Oh,
Be honest,
yeah.
you're jelly, right?
My buddy was on. They won.
No,
Wow.
really?
Yeah, they won $23,000 in cash and prizes.
Get
Very
out.
nice.
That is crazy.
They won like I want to say like $7,000 or $8,000 cash, but then they won 2 trips, one to Hawaii and one to like Sweden or something like
Nice.
that.
Wow.
And so, yeah, they did really good. They didn't get the bonus round. It was really hard.
yeah.
The words were adventurous journey.
Ooh,
And
that's
horrible.
It was just like they just didn't have the right letters up there for it.
Really?
Maybe if they would have had the J, but who asked for a J in the bonus round?
Yeah.
For those that
true.
watch,
Oh, right.
those that watch Wheel of Fortune.
Yeah.
So
They don't give you long on that too. Like
10 seconds. Yeah.
That just
Yeah.
goes, man.
Yeah.
and you're nervous,
Yeah.
Oh, sure.
you know. So yeah, they did really good. They got everybody together. They had a big party at the Embassy Suites here in
Oh,
Cool
nice.
Springs. And so they just rented out the backside of this bar, and there's probably like 50 to 75 people back there that they knew, and we all like just cheered them on as they played. And I started. Jenny thought it was gonna be bad, and I didn't know which way it was gonna go. But anytime anybody else got a letter, I booed. And
Nice.
Ah,
by the end of it, I had other people booing. So,
Nice.
but they weren't even close. Like the person who got second place, I think had $6,000. They had $23,000. So
Oh,
Good
wow.
for them.
they're like, it was a. And then next week is Nashville week, and so it'll
Oh,
be
get
all
out.
people from here in Nashville.
oh, cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So that's how we did.
There you go. Scott Clark, what's the first game you remember actually buying for yourself instead of relying on your parents or birthday/Christmas presents as a kid?
Ooh, that's a tough one.
As
Me and
a
my
kid.
friends traded games so much when I was a kid.
Mhm.
It's hard to know which one I bought. Probably like Tony Hawk or something like that. Maybe one of the Tony Hawk games. Oh no, Chris.
It had to have been a PlayStation 1 game. I just don't remember. I want to say Twisted Metal, but I'm not 100%. I think
Yeah.
it was Twisted Metal, though. I think I got it with birthday money.
Mm.
Edward.
Yeah, I can remember being in the store and buying like Nintendo games. I don't remember which one.
You paid for it.
Specifically,
Yeah.
Yeah, so I would say Sonic the Hedgehog is the earliest one I can specifically remember. This is for Sega.
There you go. Tim.
I don't have one. Yeah, I don't have one because I
Uncharted
didn't
2.
really. Yeah, I was just gonna say Uncharted 2 because that was the start of my video game
Yeah.
life. So yeah, I mean, because
So Lauren bought that for you, and then everything after that's been you buying
was-
gift cards.
Well, yeah. It was kind of a combination because I had like a gift card and that kind of stuff. So we collectively kind of bought it, and then since then I haven't bought a single video game ever.
It's awesome.
So it's amazing. All right, final question. Jeremy at Jera45. If you had to be a video game villain for a day, who would you be? What would you do?
Oh, a video game villain. That's a good one. There's some good villains out there. Chris, you got one?
Dang it. No.
I'm not as enthralled with villains as I am the heroes because you sink so much time into the hero.
Yeah.
In
Yeah.
video games, it's hard for me. It's not like the Batman movies. You know what I'm saying? Like these last couple Batman movies have been all about the villain. You know, I mean, Batman's
Mhm.
in it, but
Right.
you know, it's really, you know, Bane and the Joker, you know, that you kind of
Yeah.
remember from those movies.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, shoot. That's a tough one.
I'll start Pagan Min, and
He was a good
I
one.
would do whatever I want.
You could do whatever you like.
Exactly.
Ed, you got one? That's tough.
I'm gonna say Reaper.
Is he a bad guy?
Ooh.
Yeah,
I was thinking Roadhog.
Yeah.
Oh, Roadhog's
Are
good.
those-
Or you know
Are
what?
they
I'll go
villains?
Junkrat. I'll go Junkrat. He's
I mean,
Junkrat's a
they're-
villain too?
They're villains in like that
They're villainous.
Yeah.
they're robber. Yeah, like they were
rob
robbing a
and-
bank or the thing.
And they were robbing the Junkertown.
Yes.
And they have those ones where they've been arrested numerous times.
Mhm.
Cops chasing them for
I haven't watched all the little thingies.
And then
Oh,
Reaper
okay,
is
right.
part of Talon,
Yeah,
which
Reaper
is like
and
the opposite of
Widowmaker?
Overwatch,
Is that
and
right?
Widowmaker and Doomfist.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, Doomfist a bad guy too.
Yeah, man.
Shoot, man, I might have to punt. I have no idea. Literally, I mean, I guess Sephiroth from Final Fantasy VII. Like, he's the only bad guy that's stuck with me and like had any kind of like weight in my life. I'd say Sephiroth, and I mean, just go around. I'd probably start a cooking show with that long sword that he's got, and that would be my shtick, is that I cut carrots from really far away.
That is amazing. Well played.
That's awesome.
Make a nice Nibelheim soup.
That's amazing.
Or a Genova baked ham.
Okay.
Yep.
There you go. I would just rob stuff.
Right, Chris and I, Junkrat and Roadhog up here
Oh my gosh.
Yep. The two of you can just go rob people.
I like it.
with our hoodies.
That is it for the questions. Thank you, one and all.
Yes. The question of the week for you guys: what's your favorite game that did not age well? That you look at now and you're like, yeah, shoot. I mean, that was one of my favorite games, but doggone it, that hadn't come down the pipe right. Give you guys a second to think about it.
I'm gonna say Pitfall.
That's a good one.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a good one. That's a good one. What say you, Chris McCracken? You got one?
I'll say the first Tony Hawk.
There you go.
Thinking.
There you go. Gosh, those were good games. What about you?
I'm going Defender. We'll stick with Atari.
Oldie but a goodie.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with, only because Ed played it recently and said it was god awful, was Nights into Dreams, which was on the Saturn or something like that.
Nice.
Back in the day, I loved that game. And then it came to like backwards compatibility on the Xbox. Ed was like, what is this garbage?
That's awesome.
Let us know what's one of your favorite games that did not age well. We will talk about it next week. Thank you guys so much for being here. Episode 3, something in the books.
35.
35, that's right. And we will talk to you guys next week. I'm Gabe Patillo. That is Tim Router. That is Ed Placencia. That is Chris McCracken. And we are married to the games. And we are up out this thing. Bang!